Hey, Dana here, and welcome to my garage. Well, it's time to try and get the garage warmed up, and I wasn't going to spend thousands of dollars on a oil burner. So, of course, you're getting on YouTube and finding people who are building oil burners for their garages. Well, this is the way I am doing it. And years ago, this was probably 15 to 17 years ago, I saw this, and somebody did it this way, and I built it that way. There's the two cast iron pans, and one's upside down with little holes in it. And I put it inside the wood stove over here, and I had, I think it was quarter inch copper tubing, and I wrapped, they said wrap it around your stack, and that'll preheat the oil, and then it'll drip down on here, spread out, and then it'll finally get into the burn pot. Well, I did that for a couple of years, and then my distribution was not that good. I had it coming out of a couple of cans, and I had that squeeze pump, and it was rolling down through that valve there, and then inside. So that wasn't very, it worked, but it wasn't very efficient. So here I am 10 years later, and I'm following other people's systems. I got pans, and I got freaking brake rotors, and I got other pans, and I got, you name it, I got it sitting here working through what I'm going to do. And then I got a hair dryer for a blower and stuff like that. So I liked a couple of inventors' ideas, and the main one I took is taking a inch and a half. I think it's inch and 3/4 actually. Inch and a quarter T, drilling holes in it so you get an airflow, right? And then you take the bottom, which is going to be facing the bottom, and drill 4 holes into it. Well, I like that idea. Then they had running the tube off to the side into the burn pot, and then the air through here was, aspirating the oil. Well, I've taken that idea, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this is a 3/8 tube or pipe, and I'm running that through. That's the oil feed, and I am I'm going to elbow, and then I've got an old air chuck, and that's where the oil is going to run out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it inside here, and then with this one here, with this aspirator air, there is a hole in the middle, which they did. Well, guess what? I'm converting that to my oil drip. So this is going inside here just like this, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten that up. Now that old air chuck is going to be right lined up here. So my oil is going to run down through here and then drip out through here. Then you got on the outside, you got an inch and a quarter tubing, and then this is going to be my air. So my air is going to flow through here. It's going to aspirate out through all these holes, including aspirate out through here, as well as probably a little bit of air coming out through here. So what that's going to do is it's going to aspirate the oil. That's going to make it much thinner to burn. So hopefully I'm going to get that. I'm going to get the blue flame out of this thing. So the top one, of course, is blocked, and again the air is going to blow around it. Now at this point, I'm not sure what I'm using for a burn pan. I think I'm just going to go ahead and use this because I can just slide it right up underneath it. oil go in there and fire up and then aspirate. The length of this, I'm not sure exactly how long I need it yet. And then, of course, I'm going to try using a hair dryer for air. I'll probably eventually convert to a pellet stove fan. And the wood stove itself has got a fan in the back of it to promote burning as well. Let's see what I come over here for. Oh, I had that in my hand. Where did it go to? All right, I've got a couple more pieces of tubing. I got another piece of. I hope that's the same size. I'm just going to need a union. Are you the same? Or are you bigger? Oh, you're bigger. That's 1.5 inches on me. Okay. All right, but I think this is what I need here. I'm making it a little bit longer. Okay, yep, I just need a union. Just need a, oh, wait a minute. That's going to be right on it. Okay. So back this off for a minute, because I haven't had a chance to connect the elbow up to that yet. Hold on. Okay, I've got that connected to this. Now this again is going to go right in here, because that you're not going to need anything. You're not going to need a hole bigger than that. Okay. So that's going to go right in here. That's going to bottom out. Nothing really has to be tight. Okay, so that's going to sit. I know that's right. I know that's lined up with that hole right there. Okay, so now we'll go from here. You can now take that. This is just stuff I had laying around because I once had a boiler. That was the worst mistake I did, was get rid of that boiler. I gave that to a boy for freaking. I never got any money from him. So, okay, so that's going to tighten up on that. This is going through the wall. Okay, so that's touching right now. I just need a union. And then we're going to decide what we need out here. I'm going to need an elbow. Let's just, okay. All right, so, ooh, new elbow. That was a reducer elbow, though. All right, I do have another T for this, because I'm going to want to see my speed of my oil, the size of my oil coming through there. Let's see, you're too big now. That was too big. I might get a reducer. Oil can start out here and then reduce down. Oops, enough extra there. All right, so over here to the boiler, and the burner, the wood stove. Jesus. All right, so finally got this going. I had to do the freaking. It's condensation and freaking rolling down already. So I had to redo the stack. We got it here. So looks what I'm going to do, because the bottom is air. It got a false floor in it, right? Because that's where the air's coming up to help it burn. One more. All right. Okay, so what I'm looking at right here is right across the front here. Okay, so I've got a little bit of room, probably enough right here. I'm going to put that right down the middle. Right down the middle. And I'm probably going to cut a hole. You see, right here. And then it's going to go straight in. And then meet to wherever I put the burn pot. And it's going to come out. I'm going to elbow it. And it's going to come right out here. at an angle, okay? And then I'm going to hook up whatever I need here. The, as you can see, I got those up here from way back. Gonna drill a hole through the wall, okay? I'm gonna put the oil outside because a boy said that, which made sense to me, that you're gonna have to keep watching your flame in here because the oil's gonna get, if your canister is inside that's holding your oil, that oil is gonna get warmer. But in that time, it's continually increasing its temperature, so your flow is going to go faster, so you're going to have to keep adjusting it, okay? So if you've got your oil outside, it's at a steady temperature, and when it comes in, of course, yes, it is going to warm up. It's going to warm up as it's coming in, but it's not, by the time it gets into the burn pot, it's only going to be at a certain temperature. It's not going to be, the whole canister that you have it in is not going to keep increasing temperature. It's going to immediately start changing its temperature the minute it comes through the wall. And then as it comes in and then comes down and goes into the pot, the temperature, in my mind, is not going to be that much of a change. It's going to be it'll be a steady flow. Now if it's sitting in here the whole time, now that tank is warming up, or your oil temperature is increasing. So it's getting thinner and thinner, so of course it's even going to be thinner in the tank as it's trying to come in. So if that makes sense to you, then that's the way I look at it. So I'm going to keep the oil outside, and I'm just going to let it roll in here, and it can warm up as much as it wants to warm up between the wall and the burn pot. So, and then you're going to have, of course, the fan that's going to be blowing air through that bigger tube and then blowing the air into it. So I'm figuring the atomization is what I'm kind of looking at. Okay, so that's where we're at. Stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated as I continue to build converting my wood stove into a oil burner. All right, that's what we're doing right now. I measured to the middle of the door, and that's where I'm putting it. I measured from the top to bottom, because there's a black heat shield, or a angled shield down here coming up. So I think I'm pretty darn close to where I want to be. When I get the burner system going through here, it's going to leave a little bit of height in here, which is okay. Got no choice because, again, where's that? Because you got that burner wall right here. We're going to come through, and then I'll probably put a brake rotor or something on the bottom there, so the pan can sit on top of that. So that's what it will look like. And there's your outward flue hole, and your back blast wall here, which is where you get your ventilation from that fan back there. And then of course you got your hollow wall here, which is where your heat is driven up through your ducting, so you don't have smoke and all, you know. All right, so I'm still drilling. Get through in a few minutes. All right, after about 45 minutes of drilling, as you can see, I've got around the top. Now I got to come down, cutting around the bottom here. Wow, it takes a lot. I think it's about quarter-inch thick steel, or I don't think it's cast, but it might be. Okay, about 45 minutes worth of drilling. We are through. 45 minutes and three drill bits. This is the third one, because what was happening is all of a sudden one side would grab harder than the other and it would bend it. So there we go. We're straight through. I'm right on that. I'm right on that piece of stone, and it's going to be perfect. So what's going to happen now is I'm not going to weld anything at this point if I don't have to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pipe through. Well, I'm going to weld. Actually, what I need to do is I need to weld a big washer on that pipe, on the which is going to be on the inside, and then the elbow is going to be on the outside. So as I tighten the elbow down, I'll be tightening the elbow down on the wall there, and I'll make it solid, so I don't have to weld anything right here at this point. I don't want to be welding around all this crap if I don't have to. And then if I need to take it out at any time, I can do that. Like I said, now I got to find me a large washer to go around here, and I can go ahead and weld it onto here. So there's my oil tube, and I've got that set now with all the stuff you want. You don't really need to tighten it down other than hand tight. And I showed you that how I had that air chuck. So the air chuck's coming right down there. It's lining up right with that hole right there. I've got to get an extension. Yeah, I took that small piece out of here because when I measured it, if I'm using this too, it's putting it too far back in there. So I want it pretty much in the middle, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I got to buy me an elbow, go on the end of here, and I got to find me a large washer. Okay, so this is just sitting in here. This is what we're looking at. So it's coming right out here. Going to have an elbow. One's going to be a feed, and the other one's going to be the oil feed, and the other one's going to be the, as you can see in here, there's your oil feed, and the other one's going to be air. So that elbow, I'm going to have to drill a hole through it and put another elbow on it, and then we're going to feed it. As you can see, there's I got the half inch copper pipe, and that'll go into that. So they'll be feeding into here, and then I'll have a blower, and that should do it. All right, so let's get I got to get an elbow, and I got to get a washer welded on the back side. It's actually further in than I really want it. I kind of wanted it right by here, but I guess I deal with that. And I can still use it as a wood burner if I want to, because I can pull that out and then just use it as a wood furnace, or burning up all my papers and stuff during the year. All right, stay tuned. All right, I'm now drilling my hole down through my elbow. Little tricky. Basically what you want to do is just get your line lined up with, if you're doing like this, get your line straight up in the center here, okay? And then you're just getting your alignment there. What I did is I put it on the grinder. I knew right about where I wanted my hole, so I just flattened that out a little bit. Then I'm taking my step drill here, and then I started kind of at an angle. So I knew I was well, actually, I used a punch. got my punch where I wanted it, so I had at least a hole. All right. So then I started cutting, because you're gonna eventually have to go this way. So then just get that lined up. Start your hole. Once you get it going, you should be in good shape. So now I just gotta step it down until it reaches what I want. Nice thing about it is it's a real soft metal. Okay, with the end result with the step drill, we now have a center hole. And this puppy can go through there. I don't know if I'm going to weld it. Might weld it. I'm trying to do as little welding as I have to. So, with that, okay, that being done, let's now slide down in there. Might just get some muffler mud is what I call it. And just go around there, and once it heats up, it'll be solid as a freaking rock. All right, we're almost ready. That's through there like it's supposed to be. That's going to tighten up on there. That's going through the, this has got to go through the wall of the stove. And then it's going to tighten down on that. It's going to tighten this up. And we're going to be installed. Okay. There she is. The base is in. Let me get some light here. Okay, the base is in. Flip it up. You can see my nice big washer. It's nice and tight against that, up against that, those threads there. So that's blocking this. That's going to block any heat from coming out of there. The next thing is to go ahead and put our burner end in there. Fortunately, I had to put the, you got to put the burner, I had to put the feed tube in first because I couldn't, there's not enough length, or it's not short enough to get in there. All right, there we are. That's our top. The bottom is down, going into the pan. I can adjust that pan to the size of the pan. It's coming out. Here's our feed, and then here's our air tube. I want that kind of, it's kind of good at that angle. I'd probably tighten it up a little bit more this way to make it so I have a little deeper feed angle. It's out far enough. This is going to get warm here. This was what I was kind of concerned about as far as my air tube, because if I put anything plastic here, it's going to melt. So I may have to get another 6-inch piece, come out here, and then I can have my air feed in here. Then I don't have to worry about anything melting in here. So there we are. Okay, so we'll look into now how we're going to feed it, an air feed, and we'll go from there. Stay tuned. Okay, here's our oil feed. We're going to go up, and we're going to go out through the wall. Now I'm probably going to have a 3/8 piece of pipe coming out through there, along with a valve, probably that valve right there. I think that's 3/8 there. And then on the tank itself, I think I'm using an old propane tank, and I'm going to convert that, and that'll be outside with its own with its own valve, probably a gate valve, so I can turn the oil on or off out there as well. And then coming in here, I've got to make a ball valve system that's going to meter.